Well, you know what? We don't have to go backseat gaming anymore. We get to see whether Talon can close it out into maps on their own map pick, or whether LAVEGA can fight back and bring us to a decider map. Bank is coming up, and you two can take it away.
Thank you very much, and we will. Well, we take it to bank. It says it at the top of your screen.
Does it?
In Korean.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't know. I don't read Korean. I can read pictures, though, and the right top says that as well, yeah. That aside. Also to be removed. That's probably hinting at using the Talon shields for a cheeky plant here and there. Think of the basement. Think of maybe the top of square as well. You can maybe find some success out there, especially if that gets opened up. You get a Talon shield to play behind. Valkyrie's nothing new. And as we are seeding, LAVEGA, of course, starting off in the fence. Now, they have, I believe it was a 50% win rate on their 4 times they've played bank. Alright, so 3 rounds,
yeah,
they'll be looking for. However, their attack rate is horrible with 25% win. Which means that if, you know, they stick to the percentages, they're definitely going to lose. So they need to do more. They need to get 4 or 5 rounds on their defense if they want to have a fighting chance against Talon.
I mean, it's, as I said, an uphill battle. I haven't changed from that tune. It's a tune I've played on my little tune whistle repeatedly in the build-up to this. It's not an easy map, and I think it's a clever pick from Talon. It really puts the pressure and the stress, because there's other maps that they have lost on and have these win losses on, but they don't play as much. Bank really is a rare sort of play. It's not that they don't have a bank game, but if they don't get 4 or 5 rounds on this half,
attackers have located a bomb.
It's all she wrote, I would say.
Sure, if Talon gets 4 or 5 rounds, it's gonna be a very quick game. I'm not used to be seeing this as like an angle. I know Freakem can do this, but Freakem overview, I don't know, this makes me feel weird things and like kind of uneasy about it. Either way,
it makes you feel like
it feels me uncomfortable if it is at an off angle watching over the top, because we're always used to see it from north, south, east or west perspective. But now it's like northeast, and it's like, wait, since when? So when do we do that? It was Freakem that did it. So.
Device prime. Keep an eye on door.
Just don't mind me.
No,
I'm a bit weird like that. Yeah. Talon moving through. The drones are going to be giving Roy Boy the idea. Oh, okay, and the garage is completely clear. AFNAT will be popping off, but will be dealt with. And quickly checking on the drone. Oh, no one's there to respond. Of course, they have seen, or Damali should have seen, that the AFNAT has been destroyed in garage. So there should be some response to it, as Ryder does take down Shu. The second player around on the actual blue stairs out there. I believe he doesn't want to go too aggressive, but you never really know. I believe they're actually starting to push towards the garage right now a bit on the side of LAVEGA. That's one. The second one out there as well. It's a free pick.
Well, that's free take. No. What are you going to do with the back end of this? Obviously, they've been able to get the Fenrig gone. You were talking about. They have loads of time, and they've still got a huge amount of utility. And sure, with the cost of losing the Twitch means that those Goyo canisters, they're going to be a bit trickier to get a hold of the playback and the rest of it. But otherwise, it's still pretty standard approach here. The remaining guns of Talon, if they can get themselves in here onto the first round.
Minute left. Still some work to be done, but the hatches have, well, some of them have been opened. The other ones are in the process of being opened up. And Advantage is going to be really working out here. It's just that all that utility is worrying me. Still 3 smoke canisters left. Still a nitro cell left. Still an impact and potentially some canisters from Goyo as well. So there needs to be a reply from Talon on other areas of the map as well. They need to come in from the vault to try and provide some support, because otherwise they're going to be running out of time. willing to continue with this execute, and it seems like they're actually doing just that. Going on with this execute, not really trying to go for multiple directions here, even though they do have a numbers advantage.
20 seconds, JLT's prepped. They're going to go for the plant, and here's the cover onto the swing. They're just tucked right inside the door. There it is. Great cover. Post-plant situation. And, you know, they got the drop inside goal. It just leaves guard alone. They're trying to find a way around, but they took everything that they need, and he said it's all coming from one position, but if they have the trust that they've got rid of everything that can stop it, fair enough. And Talon round out what was a solid round with, again, a solid team approach.
Good stuff out there, and even though a lot of utility was available still out there for decided LAVEGA, and of course they could have used that to deny it, it's just that, you know, as soon as they swung out, cover on point, as you said, meaning that success was going to be there. They're headed towards the first floor, so I believe that's going to be open area. Again, I don't read Korean, but it's just the most likely opportunity here. There we go. So they're instantly rotating through, and they're not going for the actual top floor. Deciding to take a shot.
CEO is risky. Risky now for a lot of teams. It's become quite well known. There's a lot of ways to break it in, and obviously the holes that sort of developed is to extend it over the top of square with a sight line and make things awkward to approach that square wall. But if you're not confident, it's a risky site even more so, because you have to have views from outside in towards the site. You have to be confident to play around lobby and play against the team. And that, as you said, on the sort of break and on the desk, isn't where LAVEGA's strong suit is right now. They're not trusting themselves.
Attackers are heading out to defuse the bomb.
No, that's it. And they need to get some of that confidence. And well, the only way to really get that is to get some of these early rounds in, because the longer this goes on, the longer Talon is going to be successful on their attacks. Well, the more likely it is going to be a very, very quick 2-0 coming through. Now, as the top floor is more than likely going to be the first point of ingress for Talon, they'll start getting themselves ready, start getting some information, start clearing out some utility as well. Up until they feel safe that the upstairs is ready to be taken. Oh, that's painful as well, just losing those cameras. I don't know if they know about it either, because they don't. He was looking at the direction, but could just give away so much information. Oh, they don't know.
No idea. Good take. Good solid build. I love
coming in as well from Ryder, I guess.
I love cameras playing against cameras on this map. I think Sam, especially Zero, on the ride on this is always so good. Is because you just have such a big space that even if it is a camera that's stolen, even if it is a camera that's tucked in that usually has a glowing light on it, so far away, and it offers you so much. There goes a player that was entirely revealed. There's the second with the follow-up on the grenade, and it's just, they had no idea that a plan had been concocted.
I said it before as well, like I saw Ryder underneath those windows, it's like there's gonna be a grenade coming in from him. Like they know where he is, so it's just gonna bounce off. Guard will find a kill to Royboy, takes a bit as he needs to move out. It's receiving so much pressure, but for now he will live. Just that his wall's being opened up, and Walt didn't know that the janitor wall already had opened. Mally now in a really good position, but he needs to hold strong. On the top of the square, the repelling comes through, he gets it down. It's an effective 2-on-1. Shu, good spot to go for a potential clutch. I'm not sure if they'll actually go for the pickup here. He's playing close in the open area.
I mean, they've...
Wall, Sayora holding off one of the rotates. GLT spots him out and finds the kill. Almost got back into it there, LAVEGA.
They had so much time as well, and yeah, it was great from LAVEGA to start getting back into it. They had the bite on a couple of these swings. They were, you know, trying to utilize Bank to Bank's potential, and although they were caught unaware from one side, the reactivity to try and make motions happen on the other was great. It was a great sort of attempt. Had a little bit more bloodlust, and as I said, if they get themselves to a 3-3 here, regardless of what happens elsewhere, with how their attacks statistically line up on this map, I cannot see them finding success. They need to try and get this round. At this point, it's now, what, 5 rounds lost in a row, including the last 3 from the previous map on their defense. They really are sort of being beaten around here by Talon.
Is now or never, right?
Now or never.
if they don't
Gotta
get this one,
right now, not never.
it's a new one for Anne to work into the desk next.
Anne loves music.
You know, at least she doesn't think all songs were made for TikTok, like Bohemian Rhapsody and stuff.
Yeah.
Locate a bomb and defuse it.
Ooh, tables.
Tables, beautiful. Cubicles, even.
Cubicle. Have you ever worked a cubicle job before?
What? No, I haven't, but what would you put on as decoration for your cubicle?
Well, I've worked a cubicle job. And I had...
What did you have as decoration?
I had a lot of post-it notes.
Okay.
And then... Yeah, that's not a huge amount. I worked in marketing. Very crazy.
What did you market? It's the, what genre?
Oh, I probably shouldn't advertise
brands.
companies I used to work for.
I wasn't saying the brands. I was just saying like what kind.
I can't. I was a spy. I worked marketing for spies. Real job that doesn't really need marketing, and this round doesn't need to shoot. They said they were a bit of a power player last time round, and they have been unable to find their power this time. There is another blow. Another early take. Well, at least it's the roaming player, but as I said, you want them to have some support to find their strength on a map like this.
Haven't really found that yet. 3 kills in these 2 rounds so far. I believe that might have been a yokai taken. I'm not quite sure if he actually escaped with that one or not. But as 90 seconds are left, and Talon basically have the full first floor under control. The hatches are being opened up, and we're just headed towards a bit of a repeat here where they lost the early buddy. Hatches are being opened up, and there's plenty of utility in the pockets of LAVEGA to go for a plan. It all depends on how Talon's going to respond to it. Are they again going for the same kind of plans? Royboy is getting a switch drone in. He's going to be looking for some utility. Maybe the Echo drone is the majority of it. No, it doesn't find it there, so probably we'll start shooting off. Oh, there it is. That's the yokai drone. Now let's start going for the fire.
There's the drop onto the smoke. They just fight their way through it.
Oh, is he still there?
Yeah, he was holding on to the bottom of blue. He thought he could try and waste a bit more time. He knew that if he tried to rotate under the hatch, he would get caught out. But he got caught out anyway, because, again, it's a confidence here from Talon to just swing in against the utility. They knew that the player was stuck in the animation. They're throwing it round. They don't have a huge amount of time to swing that gun. God, he's got to see if he can try and have an impact.
Oh, he's stuck.
Got stuck on the swing, gets caught out by the crossfire. And a flawless round. And that is surely a timeout.
The yokai's taken out by the Twitch drone. The smoke being stuck on the staircase. I said there was plenty of like utility to play with. It's just misplayed in that moment in time. Like, the plan wasn't happening yet. The yokai drone just rolls in and the Twitch was waiting for it. Smoke being stuck on the blue stairs, well, gets eliminated. You no longer have those smokes available to use. Sure, you might waste a couple of seconds out there, but if the hatches are open up, there's no way for you to come back alive.
LAVEGA have as many kills as Talon have rounds.
That's a sad story.
It is a sad statistic. It's rough because we know what they're capable of. And that's the sort of drive here. And getting themselves to the knowledge that they've got to try and bring their best game on this half. Getting themselves to the fact that they've still got the tougher part of all of this on the second. It really just feels like they haven't quite been able to get into this fight anywhere near. And I guess it doesn't just feel like it. It looks like it as well. Let's be honest. Look at the stats and look at how the maps have gone so far. Talon have come into this full guns blazing. They know what they want, and that is that sort of first place spot. And here, LAVEGA just doesn't feel like they were quite prepared for the game that Talon wanted to deliver.
I don't know if it's not being prepared or if it's just like them not connecting. Because the ideas are there, right? Like, especially if you look at the utility they brought, the plan is there. They have an idea, and that idea could work out. But then they need to rotate in time, and they need to hit their shots, and they need to make sure that they're not being picked up without any trading opportunities to come through. Just feels like they are not connected
Attackers are heading out
right
to
now.
defuse a bomb.
And again, I don't know if that's preparedness or if that's just them not having their day. Something else. But after that timeout now, there's literally nothing but those 5 players themselves right now that can save them. Their coach has just done all he can for the rest of this game. That shield's going to be taken out. There's no one there to stop it. Kanta being opened up as well from below, so not having the opportunity of being swung at when you're on the rappel. So Talon really taking it safe with their approaches here. Again, the camera's being hacked, and I'll be getting on that camera. I'm going to be checking, oh, is there a player on the close corner again? Can we get a grenade underneath?
I mean, they had great steals before. They had a great stress before, and you wonder what the conversation was. What can they sort of buy themselves? We are trying our best to look at a stolen camera. And we know it's been hacked. Royboy has been watching through on it. They have the same read that they had last time. It looks like some of my discs just propped up on the windows to stop where they thought the grenades came from, but there's multiple ways to loot those nades up. And the drone's just having free real estate in the site itself. It can be played as a very hands-off site, and there's players underneath. We've just seen a rotate come through. They're going to see if they can try and put the pressure in. Shu wants to step up, and there's trade back and forth. The jump out of Jamali is punished, but they do get rid of at least Ryder.
You were the Solace. You could literally see them coming in from below if they wanted to go for a plant and deny them that. You go for a jump out. Literally any other operator would have been better at this moment to go for that jump out, except for Damali, because site control is now almost going to be there. Crown is still standing inside the janitor. Swiftly will take out Nisa, so at least they are biting back slightly. And Talon are being held on the outside of the building here. Shu finds another kill as well. Sayora, only one really knocking on the front door of the site here. Seems like this round might be going LAVEGA's way.
I mean, they took the risk with the jump out, and as he said, it was very much a why, but if it's the piece that pushes the puzzle over, sometimes you just gotta try and slam it in there. The spray is aggressive and shaky. They haven't noticed the rotate round onto stock. They're entirely caught out here. Not entirely sure where it is. It's up above them, but a little bit too late there as Shu steps in for the angle. One more fight. Sayora does get We Flee. No time. There it is. LAVEGA get their first round. First in about 6. Technically.
Yep. And again, their percentage of defensive win rate on bank is 50%. So you're basically required to win the next 2 as well. You don't want to be living by their own statistics. And you might be thinking, okay, so 50% on defense, that's fine. But what is their attacking win rate? That's horrible. 25%. So again, we said it before, they need a 4 or 5 rounds to really have a fighting chance against Talon here. They've already lost that opportunity, so the best thing they can do right now is just to find 3.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Reinforcing wall.
All right, Talon. Second half drive, and let's see if you can try and sort of start pushing this towards that side of it. You've lost that first one, but to be honest, it's still sort of par for the course at this point. I'm curious about the double shield. If one shield solves one problem, what problems require 2 shields?
5 seconds left.
Maybe you use the Monty for the plant and the Blitz to put some pressure behind it. The Blitz just keeps rolling and the Monty goes for the plant in the meantime, just chilling. That's the only thing I can imagine. It's definitely questionable.
It's a plan. I just want to see it in action, you know? Well, there's Kamali. Oh, they droned out. The doors just smashed their right-hand side as well. I think they're under a lot more pressure than maybe they expected. Ryder's caught out from range, but wins it. Shu knocked off the boards there after having a big round in the previous, being again an early body off.
Not a great start. Luckily, 4 the side of LAVEGA. It's still 2 shields on the board, so it's not going to be, you know, 4 or 5 full guns firing at them here. So there's an opportunity, but they need to have a good flank on the cards here. Damali, I believe he's down in that basement, coming up on the back right here. Has an opportunity to strike big as he opens up. Misses his first couple of shots. Crown does go down. He's hoping to find Misa. I believe he might have actually gotten the down on that person, but the plant will be going through, and thus 45 seconds counting down in favor of Talon.
Well, one shield's still standing at the 2, but the 2 remaining players on the side of LAVEGA need to try and break their way back in. One's stuck in the middle of the site, and the other one's got to do a big rotate. They were stuck at the top of blue. It was locked in. There's the take onto one, but there's the bite right back from underneath. Swing round. Great watch from Ryder, and Talon respond in tow with the round from before for a plant and their 4th.
The 2 shields did solve an issue there. I'm not quite sure what the issue was, because we didn't fully see it. But...
If you can't say this, what the issue was, I just feel like that's accidentally showing up to a party and wearing the same outfit.
Yeah. I mean, it's always great to have a Monty in a post plant, right? Because
it can be
really
it can be done.
hard.
Don't get me wrong. They obviously fill very different roles. Monty is a front line without a gun that can drive progress, and Blitz is a sort of self-driven German man with a shield who wishes to break across the face of everyone. They are very different roles, but having 2 of them in a lineup for me is like going in 2 different directions.
I totally get what you mean. I was just trying to, like, it worked out, but it shouldn't work out, right?
Yeah.
So it's like contradicting kind of play styles those 2 shields wearing.
5 seconds to insertion.
Basement again on the board. Seeing a roam up on the first floor, really. As just waiting to see where Talon's going to be pushing from. It might actually just be a complete top-down take. Just make sure there's no more roamers on the board and remove themselves like that. He's actually being told to remove that canister. Have they just decided to not go and play blue? Or have they decided to play very bare bones with just Crown out there in a smoke canister? Again, I'm not a big fan of putting Crown out there. First of all, because your smoke canisters are better used on the side, I believe. It would have been better to actually put Shoe on there, considering the flashbangs that could come around the corner, but...
It's one or the other, really. I think it's in that position, it's either a Warden or it's a smoke, and both have classically been played in that place, because a smoke buys time. If you're playing a smoke there, and this is where it sort of swings against it, is it's because you have a Goyo to do the burn on the site. And what they can do in that position as the smoke is just waste as much time as possible on the approach. And they'll play their life there, usually, as well.
I agree, but there's also nothing being done to keep those hatches shut, right? So, like, the hatches will open up, they do nothing against it, and that means that Talon just have a free way to double peek him. And you don't waste any time at all out there. Like, these hatches will open up, they're just gonna drop and go for the double swing.
See you on the other side.
Now, as that pressure comes through onto those hatches, Crown is left. There we go. He's not even fully confident. Do you feel good?
I feel good, yeah, no, I definitely think it's the right choice, because the Twitch drone will roll in, destroy all the fire, and, you know, what are you left with? Like a minute 15, and no utility left to cancel it if you're still in those stairs, so I think him moving over is definitely the right call. Shu being this aggressive, he's just hoping to catch one off guard. He needs to be making sure he doesn't get swallowed out whilst he does so, though. Oh, that's dangerous. Oh, now they see.
Now 50 seconds on, the Twitch is trying to remove the utility as best inside as possible. They are playing with a man deficit this time round, which is new territory for them on this approach. Smoke canisters are ripped and ready to go, and you've got 3 of them for 40 seconds. They have enough to smoke out the default barn for the rest of this. They're going to have to try and drive that kit deeper into the site behind the bomb chassis if they want this to succeed, or they're going to have to try and pull the kill on towards that smoke itself. But look at the stretch of those LAVEGA players. They're more than happy to play right up against that, pull away from the grenade, will probably tuck themselves back in. Crown has one more canister that they're just going to throw. And again, it's going to have to come to a dive right through the smoke canisters to try and pull the plant off. It's being watched by the Warden. There goes Sayora, as I said, all the way to the bomb chassis. And they're going to hold it and hope the cover comes through. Drop right on to the corridor. They're going for the spray, but they don't know where the kit is. There is the side of it, though. They almost got the plant down, but they probably wouldn't have succeeded much further than that. 4-2 is the half.
And this kind of portrays why I wanted to smoke on the side, Emmy. You can stay on the staircase, sure, you waste some time, but it's not going to be more than, you know, what he just managed to get there, because most of them are stacked up on the actual site, trying to get that plant in the default spot. If you can actually stop them from getting in there, they need to rush in deep, and suddenly they're a lot more vulnerable to either the rotation or the doorway to be picked up. So, success found there by LAVEGA, but they, well, swap over now. So it is time for them to attack. Said it before, those percentages do not work in their favor, but it is still a game of Siege, and everything can happen. So who knows? Maybe they've really worked on their attacks the last couple of days. Maybe they'll find themselves in a bit of a better form here. Still needs to be a massive improvement. Talon instantly bringing the Kate, and this is kind of what I was talking about. Like, sure, you can play someone on the blue stairs, but you need to be making sure that the pressure doesn't really come up to the A bomb side as quickly. Because if you cannot fall back, and you cannot provide cover from the server side, it's going to be double teamed, and there's almost nothing you can do. So, instantly locking that off, and also the lack of any Thatcher on the board for LAVEGA, making it very difficult for them to open up these hatches.
Okay, LAVEGA, what have we got? Because, I mean, usually on bank on your attacks, not a lot. And what we've seen today as well, the 2 rounds that you've got in your attack were from an ace and a huge 3k clutch. So, we need to see some of that team game. We need to see some of that team effort. You're still having 2 players, 1 to 10 between the pair of them. We Flee has just not been able to get their teeth in today at all. Crown, who was one of those players who pulled off around the previous map, might be able to find some sharpness here and get some energy and hopefully revitalize against what is, again, a very 5-sided slap. A 5-hand of Talon that's stretched across the halls of bank on a defense from a lot else to work with. Guard droning themselves in, seeing the open hatch and seeing if there's anybody playing around open, but currently no, they've all pulled back onto the site. How quick LAVEGA work this out will be the test.
Now, of course, there are Twitch drones on the board, and they could be used to destroy these electro claws. They just need to find a way to actually get them inside. So one hatch can be opened up, and Crown will do exactly that. I'm going to try and find some extra information now, because the Twitch drone really needs to get these electro claws. Just waiting for it. They want to go quick. They actually find one for the A bomb side, and that is going to be opened up as well. I don't think they have anything to stop that. It's going to be a good progress bit here for this attack, but still, is it going to be enough?
Well, the first falls apart. They're trying to lean right into the breach on towards the second. Losing the Iana, losing that. What's wrong with those grenades? You still have, and Ash, you still have a chance at getting, I won't say an entry because technically that's gone, but a gunslinger. Slinging guns nonetheless. Still trying to weigh up the pressure here on towards the back end, and, well, with the hatch still locked, I mean, you look at what you talked about with LAVEGA's hold here and wasting time, they've only just sort of come to the realization this is all locked. How do we remove this player?
You don't, right? Well, I mean, you can. You just need to be, well, in moment and in sync with your actual gunfight. There is Kamali hunting the player in the garage, but gets shut down for it. And Royboy can get back into those yokai drones. Weekly takes 2 shots from the shotgun. GLT still standing, actually, laying down right now. So flashbangs are coming through. He's falling back slightly, completely blinded, and will be shut down, but still, kill. Only 14 seconds. Them still having to open up, and look at that. Smoke canisters will be blocking them out as well.
Well, here's the break on it. There's this familiar sight, unfortunately. LAVEGA and no time. Look at how much structure that defense was still left put together. The wall breached as the timer ended. And it's just, I guess you start trying to work out where that disconnect is coming from. Is it the lack of sort of attribution? Is it just that sight? Because either way, you've got to go back there at least once which means that you're guaranteed at least an overtime.
I wonder if they'll figure out what Thatcher is.
Wow.
Attackers need to locate
catty.
and defuse as many bombs as they
I'm
can.
sorry, but it's like not the first time they've been struggling with a Cade Claw. They also did that during Oregon. There's a very simple solution to it. It's been in the game since launch. It's called an EMP grenade, right? Like
Thatcher is under love.
someone's got to banned so often that people just forget he exists now. I don't know what it is, but it's like all you have to do is just toss that one baseball, like softball, instantly hatch open, boom.
People.
Not that that would have saved them, but I mean, it definitely helps.
People trust
5 seconds
that they can get them with the pocket
Attackers are
EMPs.
moving out to locate a bomb and defuse.
People trust that they can sort of.
They also don't bring dolls.
Well, yeah. I'm just trying to find reasons as to why.
Yeah, they had a Twitch drone. That's it. I mean, that could like do it. They managed to do it. One of them. Not with the second. And that one was more problematic, actually. Well, that aside, Talon again 2 rounds away from finding themselves in that finals. Final spot of South Korea to head over towards Atlanta. It's going to be confirming that that shield is being taken down. So a bit of a win in this round for LAVEGA so far. Just removing a bit of utility. Of course, we are playing on that top floor, which means you do not need to clear out the basement or the first floor. It's very nice when there's a solos on the board, but there's other ways to play around that.
Bomb
5-2
located by
Talon.
attackers.
At this point, what is going to slow them down? Whoa. It'll still pop off even with the light fringe work. That mute jammer, I'm not sure if that would have destroyed the jammer as well. You can see JLT is getting the read on all of this, and you said it when a Solace did a jump out. Power them on this map. Kind of wanted that to get a kill.
I was going to say, like, is that going to be a kill? Because it was right underneath some feet. That would have been questionable. But the yokai still being up are definitely going to be an issue for LAVEGA, and GLT moving in as well. Oh, they've definitely known. They're watching him. They know where he's coming from. Shu gets picked up, though. Doesn't deal too much worth of damage, so that's just going to be the Solace back into the action. Briefly now going over for a rotate, trying to pick him up. Skills are happening over the top floor in the meantime.
Oh, Seora goes down from the back end of a grenade, which keeps the balance together. It might have just been a breaching charge from range. I don't know, as Weefly is able to get another. Suddenly they start tethering a couple of kills together. It leaves Talon on the back foot here on their defense, something that we've only ever seen at one other point today. There's another one. Where has this player been throughout the whole day? Roy Boy gets the cement onto one of them, but there's 2 more players left to find. 20 seconds though, and that's the precious moment, because if he can catch them when they're going for the plant, then he can get them in 2-1 versus 1s. He wants to play with an Echo drone. He wants to see if he can try and get the first engagement. Just misses the side of the player. Tucked in too far. Hey, Weefly. Nice to see ya.
Picking up some very needed kills, because he had like 2 or 3 kills the entire series so far. It's good to have him on the board here. Providing, again, though, an opportunity for LAVEGA to win a round. Up to the first floor we go now. Talon going to continue their rotation. It's not going to be rerunning that top floor. Open area will be up next. That was a good round from LAVEGA. They worked as a team there. Yes, sure, they've lost out on some players in unfortunate ways, but still able to find replies and responses when needed. So, way better round. Maybe the best round we've seen so far from LAVEGA.
Okay, Talon. You've been shaken a little bit, but as I said before, it's not the first time it's happened today. There was obviously a round earlier on. The only other round we've sort of seen, you know, have a bit more of that full convincing swing. from the side of them where they've had that man advantage and they play on the back of it. But again, you know, I don't want to tap that sign of is it just one player popping off for a round or not. That is entirely down to WeFlee to prove that they've shown up a bit, because they have been absent throughout this series so far. And you know, when you're playing that role, when you're playing with that gun skill, this is the thing that we talk about all the time, is we only ever measure people against the meter stick of what we know they're capable of. And that is what they can be capable of if they get the right little bit of song to dance to. And, well, it is a round. A round is a precious one. They try and double it down, and for the first time today, tie 2 together.
And now we spoke about Talon, everybody really being present there, but Ryder in the meantime is, well, double present there. He literally has twice the amount of kills of the other of his teammates there. It's really in a good game here on Bank.
I think he's got all of those, a lot of those in the past 2 rounds.
Yeah, as well. I mean, he like a while ago he was like on 9, whilst the rest was on like 4 or 3. So he's definitely, you know, been consistently out there. You know, where previously Talon was all showing up. They're still all showing up. It's just that one person is showing up a little bit extra.
Sensor on.
Nisa takes a bit of a bite underneath, but they're happy to keep sort of playing the waiting game. The lines come through, and the rotate is noisy, which means Damali was in a position to punish it. From that, it's a huge player to take out of the sort of mix there above without so much of a battle back. There's a trade. Damali goes down, but very quickly picked back up by WeFlee as the response. Misa wants to see if he can get a cheeky take on somebody getting a bit adventurous entering here, but with the cameras hacked, they'll have a lot more awareness than they did just moments ago of exactly where it's clear. The place shrinks.
All right. Talon, Amanda's advantage here. A minute left on the clock. Ryder taking some damage from the skeleton key. Afterwards from above as well. So just trying to escape his life and somehow just barely hanging on. As long as he's alive, he can start shuffling those codes around, which is exactly what he's doing right now to make sure that the right AFNATs aren't going to be activated at any given time. Oh, that's the spot coming down onto the Yana. Oh no! Misses to kill the first instant, but instantly swaps back. Misa could have been really costly there if you were too complacent with thinking you actually had the kill in that moment in time.
I mean, now at this point, you're looking at, what, 20 seconds left. They've got to now watch for this loose flank player. They've got to still try and get the kit into the site as well. And at this point, you're butting heads against some of the structure. They're just having to full send it. The 3 players breaking their way towards
10 seconds remaining.
the plant behind the kitchenette. They've got the player rotating up now from the side of the back end of blue. It'll be watched on a drone by one of the dead players. You assume the smoke canister onto that kit, but there's the swing all the way across. Wasn't quite watched well enough. And Talon move themselves onto map and series point.
So Misa just patiently waiting down below. Knew there was going to be a drone out there, but you know, if the time is ticking low, surely they can be watching that drone, but there's no way an actual meaningful reply will be coming in anymore. So Talon, 6-on-3. As you mentioned, map, series point. If they win this next round, or any of the next 3, they'll be headed over towards those grand finals and fight for that final spot. South Korea to head towards the major in Atlanta.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Talon.
Yeah.
You go.
All right, so I was going to say SI is also on the line to some extent. Because if LAVEGA get knocked out here, they will be out of the running for 6 Invitational as well. Because currently, they are finding themselves in 27th place. Only the top 20 get invited to go to SI. And that means that, you know, they'll be running short. Talon, who's lower on the rankings, will have to have an incredible run to be making it through, if they want to make it through, because otherwise it's just going to be Sandbox and D+ from the South Korea region to make it to SI.
You know what they say, Hap?
What do they say?
They don't call it a last chance qualifier because you get another opportunity.
That's true, there is no other opportunities. Do or die now.
Do or die.
Not quite literal die, but, you know,
Wow.
dreams die.
If you die in the video game, you don't die in real life. You get to still enjoy a lovely, fulfilling life. I hope you will do. But everything is ahead of them right now. They have to try and tie 3 rounds in a row. They haven't been able to get even 2. They haven't done a back-to-back tour today. They've really struggled to grab onto momentum and keep it. And at this point, with all the pressure working onto the back of them, and with a take here down into the vault site, they've already lost once and they barely scratched the surface. I said you have to have a plan B here, because plan A was unfortunately broken apart. There's a good read on a lot of the problems that might try and cut them through onto open. In the back of which they can push across, but Ryder and JLT, the only 2 that are really holding on. There's the break on the hatch. At some point, they'll just fall down towards the site, you assume. There's 3 players. There's one there, but there's one just to the right as well. Misa suffering, and there it is, the drop. They know the pressure's coming around. All 3 of them hit the boards, and they've wasted a minute and a half.
And the time keeps on ticking now, and if the FNets are being deployed or redeployed and activated again, yes, these hatches will open up. It's going to be really difficult to actually get into those gunfights, so the fault plant is what we will be looking at here. Potentially is quite the only opportunities. Guard was looking to get the Twitch drone in to shut down the Yokai drone, but the Yokai lives. And the second one is being pushed around right now by Royboy to be ready for the post plant as well. Still 3 smoke canisters left. And then C4, so they need to be hitting from the backside, if anything, because if they're going for a default plant, that's not going to be working out. They find 1 Yokai drone.
Lay down of the smoke and the response smoke as well. They're just holding on. You can see how long-armed they are against the site. They're really keeping themselves away from it. There's the first. Royboy falls. There's the second, quickly followed with Misa. At least getting the trade on the drop. They're going for the back end. The vault is theirs. Crown has been able to swing their way around. They just missed the first and the second fight, but JLT does find We Flee, but from the side of gold. Another player goes down over on the shoulder. They're running out of bullets. The worst time, but a great take from LAVEGA. 6-4. The deficit gets slightly smaller. Not out of the woods yet.
Good call right here from them. They realized a default plant was not going to be working out. They had to go through the back as they went for those hatch drops. And of course, you might lose some players whilst doing that, but it was always going to be a better opportunity than going to what is known and just trying to butt your head through whilst hoping for that wall to break. And as Talon is going to be rerunning that basement site, they're going to have to put a bit more attention towards those back hatches. And I wasn't actually quite sure. I'm not sure if the Cade was there the previous round. I don't think it was. It's going to be making it a bit more difficult now to, again, open up these hatches. So I hope that they're bringing Thatcher, or if they're bringing some EMP grenades, because, again, otherwise, they'll be struggling a lot.
Back down again. Back here towards the same site, the same bit of structure, and a similar sort of role. They're obviously playing with the Twitch drones and the importance that they can sort of bring. And it's all, you know, it's sort of that risk where you're putting a lot of weight on towards what is a great gadget. It's a gadget that sort of was the most in favor, mainly because of the F2, then sort of fell out of favor, and has come back a little bit. Ever since the DMR started to become the renaissance of DMRs.
Boy, again, being aggressive in their garage. It's worked out once for him, and once he's been taken out by the player that was actually going for the hunt. This is quite an important operator using those Yokai drones. So be careful to not lose his life again, because that can cost you rounds. As LAVEGA is starting to work more together as a team as this game is progressing, start wondering, is it too little too late? Like, everybody's on the board now. Everybody's like solidly on the board. I mean, it's not like everybody's dropping like 6-7 kills, but better than the previous map where some people still had like 1 after all those rounds. And as we wait, it's just Roy just playing with his drones, realizing that some of it is being opened up, so he's evacuating that Yokai drone. Doesn't want it to stick around. Scar loses a Twitch drone in the fight with Misa, hoping to find the Electroclaw that was right below the hatch. Now, this is going to be pulled off, just in case another Twitch drone comes through. And we'll have to choose on what to open up now.
Well, the focus comes towards the back end of the hatch, and the Kaid is trying to reinforce the back end. There's the roll. Hatch to ensure that this is a hatch that gets popped open. They actually are going to try and buy time. We talked about who's often in this position, and MH70 Jaeger isn't always the most common. They will want to try and get the ping here onto this last hatch. They still have 2 EMPs as they roll through, and they'll double it down. It's a very important part of utility to make sure it stays onto their favor. The MH70 is still sitting pretty at the top. The flashbangs come out. There's the swing round. Makes the connection with 1.5. Unfortunately, too blinded to see. Mali was also blind, but he took the initiative to sort of lie down and hold the fire up, and now the fire can start being popped.
Use there from these EMPs just to make sure that you don't have to worry about those hatches anymore. They have been opened up. They're still yokais, though. It's going to be the main issue to get away with those smokes. 20 seconds. It's enough time for them to waste here, so need to see something from LAVEGA. They need to pull something out of the hat right now. That is potentially to dig in right behind the bomb chassis as soon as that fire stills, because 10 seconds and 1 smoke canister left. That's going to be tossed in actually right behind the bomb chassis, so they need to go for kills now.
They're trying to tuck through the breach. They have 4 seconds. They're going close to the wall and hoping the cover comes across it, but there's still an echo maybe on the board that's watching over the side. It's 0 time, though, and Talon take the series in a bit of an explosive final round. Unfortunately, this is where Vega's year ends. No chance of getting to SI. No chance of getting to the major. This is still Talon's to take.
Yeah, Talon still have another best of 3. They need to fight through tomorrow to actually qualify themselves. So for them, it is back towards that drawing board. Watch that next game. Make sure that you identify some of the weaknesses whilst also working on your own. There's a very big game they have coming up tomorrow.